Welcome to my channel. Today's story is one of those cases that stays with you. It isn't just about a crime, it's about the silence, the denial, and the unthinkable that hides in plain sight. It's about Jessica Dishon, a bright, kind 17-year-old girl from a small Kentucky town, and the horrifying truth her own family couldn't face. Have you ever trusted someone so deeply only to realize too late that you were wrong? Let's dive in. Jessica Dishon was born on May 2nd, 1982, in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, a small, quiet town where everyone knew everyone. Her parents, Edna and Michael, were hardworking people. Jessica had two younger brothers, Michael Jr. and Christopher. From a young age, Jessica showed ambition, humor, and that signature teasing style older sisters often have, especially toward their little brothers. But it was all in good fun. Deep down, Jessica was protective, responsible, and full of dreams. She loved animals, had a sharp mind for math, and was part of the ROTC program in school. For a while, she dreamed of becoming a soldier, a dentist, or an accountant. But like many teenagers, her dreams evolved. By 17, she wanted to become a chef, someone who creates, who brings joy through food. She even started planning weekly meals for her family. Jessica lived in a rural area, wide stretches of land, forests, and homes spaced far apart. Her neighbors were often family or close friends. One of these neighboring families was the Brooks family. They were close. They helped each other. One of the Brooks boys, David, better known as Bucky, often helped Jessica's father on the farm. He had a low IQ and struggled with learning difficulties, but was known as quiet and helpful, or so everyone thought. Friday, September 10th, 1999, started like any other day. Jessica's parents left early for work. Her brothers went to school. Jessica was the last to leave. She had her own car, a red Pontiac, and her classes started later. Her brothers saw her getting ready in the bathroom before they left. She smiled and said she'd be out in 5 minutes. But Jessica never made it to school. Her car remained parked in front of their house. Her personal belongings, books, purse, money, even one of her shoes were still inside. A strange plastic wrap was found on the seat, even though Jessica had previously torn all of it off when the car was new. Her phone was there, her switch key, everything except Jessica. When her parents called the school, they learned she hadn't shown up. And when they contacted the police, they were told to wait 24 hours, a rule that cost them everything. That night, the family began searching themselves. They alerted neighbors, friends, extended family. Everyone in Shepherdsville knew Jessica, and soon, the whole community was searching. But the clock was ticking. A young officer named David Greenwell visited the scene and immediately realized this wasn't a runaway. He saw the single shoe, the untouched car, the panic in the family's eyes. He begged his superior officer, Charles Mann, to take it seriously. But Mann brushed it off, said it was the weekend, and he was on leave. Hours turned into days. The car was never quarantined. Family members touched it. Even reporters sat inside it. Potential DNA and fingerprint evidence? Contaminated, lost forever. The FBI was finally brought in on September 13th. They were horrified to discover that critical evidence had been destroyed or mishandled. But there were still clues, scratch marks on the inside of the car, the start of a 911 call that never connected. Someone had pulled Jessica out of her car. Jessica's body was found 17 days later by a school bus driver near the Salt River, a place already searched by the family. Her body had been dragged, placed near a tree with a multicolored rope around her. One of her legs was broken from a brutal strike, and signs of physical trauma covered her body. She had been alive for at least 3 days after she disappeared. While her town hoped for answers, the investigation pointed toward Bucky Brooks. He was the last person to admit seeing her. His story changed often. He failed multiple lie detector tests. Rope similar to the one found on Jessica was discovered in his van. Dogs traced the scent of human decomposition to gloves on his property. Still, nothing definitive. There was no DNA, no confession, no witness. Bucky was arrested and charged, but eventually released when the evidence didn't hold up in court. His low IQ, his erratic behavior, all became tools for the defense. And while some in town believed he was guilty, others believed he was a scapegoat. Either way, Jessica's killer was still out there. For 13 years, the case went cold. And then, a breakthrough, not from a forensics lab, not from new technology, but from a whisper in prison. A man named Stanley Dishon, Jessica's uncle, reportedly spoke to a fellow inmate. According to the inmate, Stanley shared disturbing details about Jessica's disappearance. He said Jessica had started a new relationship and was preparing to speak out about something she had endured for years. Fearing exposure, he claimed he took matters into his own hands. The inmate passed this information to the authorities. Detective Lienhardt, who had reopened Jessica's cold case, followed the lead. He searched an old cellar where Jessica once played as a child. There, he discovered something personal, a belonging that had gone missing from her room the day she vanished. It was a powerful clue. Jessica had likely been held there. Eventually, Stanley was arrested. But instead of admitting guilt, he entered what's called an Alford plea, a legal agreement where someone does not confess, but accepts conviction based on strong evidence. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. For Jessica's family, it was a long-awaited step toward justice, though many believed it wasn't nearly enough. The truth was unbearable for Jessica's parents, who had let Stanley live with them. They had trusted him, protected him. They had denied what their hearts must have known, that monsters can exist even within our own families. And that denial allowed Jessica to suffer. Let's talk, because this case is not just about what happened, it's about how it could have been prevented. We tend to believe that danger comes from outside, that strangers are the threat. But statistics and tragic cases like Jessica's tell another story. The vast majority of abuse and child exploitation comes from within families or trusted circles. When families choose silence over discomfort, children suffer. When we say he's family, he would never, we allow predators to roam free in our homes. When we prioritize appearances over truth, we leave the most vulnerable unprotected. Parents, your job isn't to keep peace among adults. Your job is to protect your child at all costs, even if that means drawing lines in the sand with someone you've known your whole life. Listen to your children. Notice behavioral changes. Don't dismiss red flags because they're inconvenient. Because no amount of denial will bring back a child like Jessica. When we hear about a case like Jessica's, a bright teenager silenced by someone within her own family, the first instinct is horror. But the second must be action, because abuse doesn't just happen in the shadows, it happens in silence. Here are detailed, life-saving safety insights for parents, guardians, and communities. 1. Believe your child over your comfort. If a child hints at inappropriate behavior from a relative, family friend, teacher, or neighbor, even indirectly, believe them first. Your child's discomfort matters more than your family ties. Predators often rely on their status as trusted adults to hide in plain sight. 2. Teach children the difference between secrets and surprises. Predators often manipulate children by saying things like, "This is our little secret." Make sure your child knows. Good surprises make people happy and never involve hiding from mom or dad. Bad secrets are anything that makes them feel scared, uncomfortable, or trapped. 3. Create a safe word system. Establish a private code word or phrase your child can use if they're ever in danger or feel unsafe, whether at home, school, or elsewhere. It could be used in a phone call, text, or in person to silently communicate, "I need help." 4. Watch for behavioral changes, even subtle ones. Sudden mood swings, withdrawal, bedwetting, fear of certain people, or becoming overly compliant may be signs of trauma. Don't assume they're just being a teenager. Take the time to talk, observe, and act. 5. To limit unsupervised access, even with family. It's uncomfortable to think this way, but abuse is most often committed by someone the child knows. Sleepovers, camping trips, or even isolated time with adult relatives should never be taken lightly. Set boundaries and keep open communication about what happens during those visits. 6. Teach body autonomy early. Children need to understand that their body belongs to them, even at age 3 or 4. Teach them the proper names for body parts and explain clearly what kind of touch is never okay. Reinforce the message that they can say and no to anyone, even an adult. 7. Watch how adults behave around your child. Does someone seem overly interested in your child? Always wants to be alone with them? Gives expensive gifts? Offers to babysit often or tries to build a private relationship? Pay attention. Predators groom both the child and the family. 8. Never dismiss gut feelings. Jessica's family had suspicions. They noticed strange behavior, but they overruled it because Stanley was family. Your intuition exists for a reason. If something feels off, investigate, even if it makes you the bad guy at the family barbecue. 9. Push for immediate action in missing cases. Don't let police delay an investigation under the 24-hour rule. In cases like Jessica's, every hour counts. Demand that law enforcement takes immediate steps, including preserving crime scenes, collecting evidence, and broadcasting alerts. 10. Get professional help if you suspect abuse. Whether it's a child therapist, a school counselor, or a child protective service, don't try to handle it all alone. Professionals can conduct interviews, gather evidence, and support the child safely and legally. One final truth that hurts, but needs to be said. It's better to offend a relative than to bury a child. Don't protect your family's reputation. Protect your child's life. Thank you for watching. If you found this story powerful or eye-opening, please subscribe for more cases like this, not just to explore the darkness, but to learn how to prevent it. Stay aware, stay safe, and most importantly, protect your children.